Hi friends, my name is Pamela Hansbrough from Holbrook Elementary in Cyfair ISD, and today I brought my book, Officer B and Me, to share with you. It's the story of a really cool officer who helps a little girl who's not making the best choices at school make better choices. Shout out to those boys and girls whose moms and dads are police officers who are out there working to keep us safe. And a shout out to all you boys and girls who are taking the time to listen to my story. I hope you enjoy it. Officer B and Me by Pamela Hansbrough. Illustrated by Crystal Baldwin. Today started off great, until Mommy wouldn't let me wear my favorite dress to school. She knows I have a strong sense of fashion. I folded my arms in protest as she took my dress from my hands. "No, Bree," she said as she hung the dress back in the closet. "It's too wet for a dress today. Put on your jeans and tennis shoes." "I hate the word no," I screamed and stomped. "Please, Mommy, please can I wear it? It's my favorite." I begged and pleaded with my saddest face as I followed her to the door. She ignored me and said in a stern voice, "No, Bree, get your jeans and tennis shoes on. You won't be late for school today." "I hate blue jeans, I hate tennis shoes, and I hate the word no," I yelled as she walked out of the room. I stomped and screamed loudly as I put on my blue jeans and favorite pink shirt, then fell to the floor, pooped from throwing a fit. I looked over at my tennis shoes and grumbled, "I don't want to wear those old things." Then I noticed my rain boots. "These are perfect," I said out loud. Bright pink with sparkles. It didn't matter that one of them was coming apart in the back. "These are my favorite," I exclaimed as I reached for them and put them on. I quickly scooped up my backpack and ran to get into the car. Mom noticed I didn't have on my tennis shoes when I hopped into the back seat. "Brene Monique," she said in her serious voice, "I told you to put your tennis shoes on. You don't have time to go and change or you will be late for school. No playing outside, no toys, and no TV this afternoon when you get home." I did not like that. "I hate the word no, and I don't want to be grounded," I screamed. She looked at me in the rearview mirror, then just ignored me as she drove down the street. We pulled into the parking lot of Gibson Elementary, and I gave Mommy a hug and kiss goodbye. "Have a good day," she said. "How can I have a good day?" I whined. "I can't go outside, play with my toys, or watch TV today. No fair." All Mommy said was, "Now is not the time, Bree." I stepped out of the car, closed the door, and walked up the sidewalk with a huge scowl. I stomped into school past teachers who smiled and said good morning. Clump, squeak, clump, squeak, clump, squeak went the sound of my rain boots as they hit the floor and my feet slid up and down in them because they were too big. When I arrived at Miss Baxter's classroom, she was busy with some papers and didn't see me enter class. Usually she's at the door greeting us, but today she wasn't. Uh-oh, I thought, it really is going to be a bad day. I needed my good morning to turn my day around. I stomped into the room, hoping she'd notice me. She glanced up, but didn't say a word. "What's up with that?" I mumbled under my breath. Frustrated, I took my folder out and placed it at my desk, walked over and put my backpack in the closet, and then went and plopped down in my seat to eat breakfast. The timer went off, which was Miss Baxter's signal for us to throw away breakfast and move to the floor to get started with the lesson. Everyone did what they were supposed to do, except for me. She had to give me lots of reminders to throw away. Just one more minute, please, I begged. No, Bree, she replied and pointed to the trash can and then to the floor. There's that word no again, I mumbled to myself and frowned. I finally followed her directions and threw my breakfast packages in the trash. Plump squeak, plump squeak, plump squeak was the sound of my rain boots as I stomped to the trash can and then to my spot on the floor. Once Miss Baxter's reading lesson was complete, she sent us to our desks to read with a partner. I just sat on the carpet. She walked over and asked what was wrong. In my head, I was thinking about how mad I was that I would be grounded when I got home. On top of that, my reading partner Max was absent, so I had to read with Annabelle today. She's a bossy know-it-all. I don't want to partner read with Annabelle, I said as I folded my arms and pouted. Then you can read by yourself, Miss Baxter replied. So I went to my seat and read by myself. While I was reading independently, my name flashed on the projector screen to let me know it was my turn to practice reading on the computer. Boring. Bree, time to get on Station X, Miss Baxter said as she walked by my desk. I squinted my eyes at her and said, No, I don't want to do Station X today. I threw a fit so loudly that she decided to ignore me. I quieted down and watched Pete work on Station X. Lunchtime came and I walked to the cafeteria out of line. Clunk, squeak, clunk, squeak, clunk, squeak was the melody my boots played all the way to the cafeteria and back. It felt good to do what I wanted to do, and Miss Baxter didn't mind at all. She didn't say one word to me on the way to or from lunch, even though I wasn't showing my hallway paws. That means showing my manners in the hall. It was fun to walk by myself and touch the walls. We returned to class after lunch and it was writing time. Miss Baxter told us about her pet cat Chewy, and then she wrote a story about how he got tangled up in a big red ball of yarn that he was playing with last night. The whole class laughed because she drew a picture of Chewy that we thought was really funny. When she finished, it was our turn to write about something funny that happened to us. She explained the writing lesson and then sent us to our desks. I went back to my seat and just sat. I didn't take out my writing toolbox. I didn't take out my writing folder. I just sat. Then I thought, this is the perfect time to go to the restroom. That way, I don't have to write. I raised my hand. Miss Baxter, may I go to the restroom? I yelled out across the room at her. She came over to my desk and reminded me of how we get the teacher's attention in school. After she didn't see any of my writing materials, she said to me, when you get your materials out to get started on your writing, then you can go to the restroom. Please, Miss Baxter, may I go? I really need to go bad, I pleaded. No, Bree, not until you do what I ask you to do, she told me. Then she walked away and went to help Annabelle. She was sitting across the room, raising her hand and waiting patiently. I was steaming mad. How can she go help Annabelle when I am asking her to go to the restroom? I grumbled. Angry that she chose to help Annabelle rather than let me go to the bathroom, I yelled, I hate the word no. Then I pulled my toolbox from my desk and threw it. My pencils, crayons, scissors, and glue sticks flew across the room. Please pick those up, Miss Baxter said to me. No, 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 I screamed repeatedly. She came over and tried to calm me, but I covered my ears and screamed louder. Bree, she said, if you keep screaming, I will have to call the office. I ignored her, and Miss Baxter called the office for help. Miss Romero, the principal, came with her assistant, Miss Jones, and they tried to calm me. No, 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 no! I screamed at the top of my lungs. They quickly took me to the principal's office. I kicked and threw a big fit all the way down the hall. Once we got to Miss Romero's office, she called Mommy and Daddy to come to school. While I waited in the principal's office, a police officer came and stuck his head in the door to say hello. He was almost as tall as the door. My eyes got as big as quarters as I looked at him. "Come on in, Officer B," Miss Romero said, inviting him into the office. "I have someone I would like you to meet." He stepped in and she continued, "This is Bree, and Bree, this is our friend Officer B. He's our traffic and safety officer who comes to Gibson Elementary every day to help our students get to school and home safely. Say hello." I looked at him a little afraid, swallowed, and said, "Hi," in a voice as quiet as a mouse. "Hi, Bree. Why are you in the principal's office?" Officer B asked as he walked over and stood in front of me. A little afraid, I cleared my throat and answered, "Because I, 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 I don't like to hear no. Everybody was telling me no. First Mommy, then Miss Baxter. I got so mad that I screamed and kicked and started telling the teacher no," I said to him. He looked at me with his big brown policeman eyes. "That's not cool, Bree. It makes me sad that you were telling your teachers no and throwing a tantrum," he said. I wanted to crawl under the table and hide because I did not want to make Officer B sad. I looked at him as he talked to me. "You are going to hear no a lot, my friend. I'm a grown-up, and I hear it all the time. But I don't scream and throw a fit. I would lose my job if I did. When the teacher says no, you just say okay in a cool, calm way and do what you're asked to do. Promise me that you will do that," he said to me. "Yes, sir, I promise," I responded, still amazed at how tall he was. "Now, you threw a tantrum and kicked and hurt some of my friends. That's not cool either. You owe them an apology," he concluded as he nodded his head towards Miss Romero and Miss Jones. Nervously, I walked over to Miss Romero and said, "Sorry for screaming mean things at you." She looked at me sternly and replied, "Thank you, Bree." Then I made my way to face Miss Jones, who put her hand on my shoulder. "Sorry for kicking you with my rain boots and screaming at you," I said to her. "I accept your apology, Bree. Now I need you to do better and listen to your teachers," Miss Jones told me. "I will do better, Miss Jones, I promise," I said. Then I went and sat at the table to wait for my parents. Mom and Dad arrived, and Miss Romero discussed my behavior at school. Both my parents watched me as she talked. Mommy had tears in her eyes, and Daddy just looked disappointed. When Miss Romero finished talking, she turned and introduced Officer B to them. They shook hands and talked for a little while. Then Officer B asked them something that I will always remember. "Would it be all right," he asked my dad, "if I checked on Bree from time to time here at school? Because I really want to see her do well." "Sure," my dad said, as my mom nodded and smiled in agreement. He and Mom finished talking with the adults, and then we left. Once we arrived home, I got what my behavior deserved. No time outside to play, no toys, and no TV. I sat in my room, looked out of the window, and thought about the poor choices I had made earlier in the day. I also thought about my new friend, Officer B, and the promise I made to him to not throw fits at school, because fits are not cool. Besides, I wanted to see him stand tall when he saw me, smile with his big brown policeman eyes and shiny black shoes, and say to me, "Good job, Bree." And guess what? The very next day at school, at the end of the day, Officer B came to check on me. As he kneeled in front of me, he didn't seem so tall and scary. He looked like a nice friend. How was her day? He asked Miss Jones and Miss Romero. Bree was very respectful today, Miss Romero responded. She did not tell any of the adults no, Miss Jones added with a smile. He smiled, his big brown eyes beaming with joy. Now that's awesome, Bree. I am very proud of you for staying cool, Officer B said to me. I started to give him a hug, but I stopped and wondered under my breath, is it against the law to give hugs to police officers? I chuckled a little, hiding my laugh behind my hand, and turned to walk back to class. He must have read my mind because he asked, did you want to give me a hug? Uh-huh, I said, and turned, ran, and wrapped my arms around his neck. And a big squeeze, too, I squealed with delight as I squeezed him tightly and giggled. It felt good to make cooler, calmer choices today, and I was super excited that my friend Officer B was so proud of me. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening to my book. I hope you do a good job of accepting no from your teachers when we return to school, and hope to see you guys soon.